International diplomacy is often a dance of pleasantries masking real tensions, where smiles and handshakes can hide deep-seated disagreements simmering just beneath the surface. But the latest clash between the United States and Canada has shattered that carefully maintained facade, exposing raw nerves and unresolved issues that have been building for years. President Donald Trump has publicly demanded significant American control over Canada's freshwater resources, igniting a crisis unlike any in recent memory and sending shockwaves through both governments. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has responded with a firm and unequivocal rejection, framing the issue as a matter of national sovereignty, not just another point of negotiation or trade. This confrontation is the result of months of escalating tensions, with Trump's aggressive America First policies straining the once close partnership and eroding the trust that had defined U.S.-Canada relations for decades. By targeting Canada's water, Trump has transformed what began as a trade dispute into a battle over national identity, environmental stewardship, and even the right to self-determination. For many Canadians, water is more than a resource. It's a symbol of their independence and way of life. Trump sees Canada's water as a solution to U.S. shortages and a powerful bargaining chip for future trade deals, especially as droughts and climate change put increasing pressure on American water supplies. Meanwhile, Carney insists that Canada's resources are not for sale, echoing the growing public outcry and protests across the country. Canadians are rallying behind their leader, determined to protect what they see as a vital part of their national heritage. The stakes are high. The U.S. risks alienating its closest ally and destabilizing a relationship that has been a cornerstone of North American security and prosperity. At the same time, Canada faces a reckoning over its economic dependence on its southern neighbor, as well as the challenge of asserting its sovereignty in the face of mounting pressure. The lines are drawn, and both leaders are locked in a high-stakes standoff, with neither side willing to show weakness or back down. The world watches with bated breath, wondering if this is merely a passing storm or the beginning of a lasting fracture in North American relations. Allies and rivals alike are paying close attention, aware that the outcome could reshape the balance of power on the continent. The initial salvos have been fired, and the future of the alliance now hangs in the balance, with uncertainty clouding every diplomatic move. The question now, can either side back down without losing face, or is this the moment when two old friends become adversaries on the world stage? The seeds of this crisis were sown in August 2025, when Trump imposed a sweeping 35% tariff on all Canadian imports. The White House cited fentanyl trafficking and vague unfair trade practices, linking national security to trade in a volatile mix. Despite Canada's efforts to combat the opioid crisis, Washington framed the issue as a Canadian failure, justifying economic punishment. A tense October summit between Trump and Carney ended in deadlock, with no relief from tariffs and no new trade deal in sight. The tariff battered Canada's economy and shattered the sense of stable partnership, setting the stage for Trump's audacious water demand. The relationship, once predictable, now teetered on open hostility. With tariffs biting and tensions high, Trump escalated by publicly demanding American access to Canada's fresh water. He framed it as a simple matter: America needs water, Canada has plenty, and it's time to share. Trump's rhetoric, including talk of a merger in Canada as the 51st state, stunned Canadians and alarmed U.S. politicians. In private talks, Trump linked lifting tariffs to water concessions, offering a grand bargain that Canada saw as blackmail. For Canadians, water is heritage, not a commodity. Trump's approach was a profound insult. Some Americans, especially in drought-stricken states, supported the idea, but many leaders warned it could irreparably damage the alliance. The demand for water became a flashpoint, transforming a trade dispute into a fight over sovereignty. The diplomatic crisis deepened, with both sides digging in. Prime Minister Carney responded with a bold plan: the Canadian Shield, a strategy to reduce economic dependence on the U.S. The plan includes massive investments in infrastructure, new trade routes to Asia and Europe, and expanded energy and mining projects. A new East Coast port and expanded LNG capacity aim to bypass U.S. supply chains entirely. Carney's televised address declared economic independence, arguing that Canada must prepare for a future without guaranteed U.S. partnership. The plan faces challenges: environmental opposition, indigenous rights, and financing, but signals Canada's resolve to chart its own course. The message to Washington, Canada, will not be bullied. The era of complacency is over. In Canada, water is more than a resource. It's a symbol of national identity and pride. It's a vital part of the landscape that Canadians cherish deeply. The country's geography, culture, and history are shaped by its rivers and lakes. Water is woven into the Canadian story. From the early days of exploration to modern times, water has been central to the Canadian way of life. Trump's demand felt like a violation, not a negotiation. It was seen as an affront to Canadian sovereignty and values. The idea of selling water to a foreign power is political poison in Canada, uniting citizens across all divides. It's a rare issue that brings together people from all walks of life. Americans, especially in the West, see water as a commodity to be managed and traded, making Canada's refusal seem irrational to some. In the US, water is often viewed through an economic lens. This cultural divide, heritage versus commodity, lies at the heart of the impasse. It's a fundamental difference in how each nation perceives and values water. Trump's gambit was not just a political miscalculation, but a cultural one. He underestimated the deep emotional and historical significance of water to Canadians. For Canadians, defending water is defending the nation itself. It's about preserving a legacy for future generations. Carney's rejection reflects a deep, unwavering consensus. Water is not for sale. This stance is a testament to the collective will of the Canadian people. The conflict is about more than economics. It's about identity and legacy. It's a clash of values that goes beyond mere transactions. Trump's water demands sparked outrage across Canada, uniting the nation in rare solidarity. Town halls, radio shows, and social media erupted with defiance, giving Carney a powerful mandate to resist. Even opposition parties backed the government's stance on water, setting aside political differences. In the US, reactions split along partisan lines. Trump's base cheered his boldness, while many leaders and experts condemned the move as reckless. Business leaders in border states warned of economic disaster, while foreign policy voices decried the damage to America's most important alliance. The crisis exposed deep divisions in both countries, unity in Canada, polarization in the US. The water dispute became a symbol of broader anxieties about sovereignty, security, and national identity. The fallout was felt far beyond the negotiating table. The standoff has forced a fundamental reassessment of US-Canada relations. Trust, once the bedrock of the partnership, has been badly damaged. With tariffs in place and water demands unresolved, normal diplomacy is frozen. Canada's pivot to new markets signals a long-term shift away from US dependence. Businesses on both sides scramble to adapt, as cross-border trade faces new barriers and uncertainty. Security cooperation, including NORAD, is threatened by the climate of suspicion. Adversaries may seek to exploit the rift, weakening continental security. Even if future leaders seek reconciliation, the scars will remain. The era of easy friendship is over. Mistrust now defines the world's longest border. The alliance stands at a crossroads, its future uncertain. The Trump-Carney confrontation marks the end of North America's post-war consensus, a period defined by trust, shared prosperity, and open borders. For decades, the US and Canada stood as partners, their destinies intertwined by geography and history. The crisis has shattered assumptions of perpetual partnership, replacing them with rivalry and uncertainty. What once seemed unbreakable now feels fragile, as old certainties give way to suspicion and caution. For Canada, it's a forced march toward strategic independence and a new place in the world. The country must now redefine its role, forging alliances and policies that reflect a changed reality. For the US, it's a warning about the costs of transactional foreign policy and lost goodwill. The consequences of these choices will echo for years, affecting not just leaders but ordinary citizens on both sides. The standoff is a watershed moment, redrawing the map of the relationship. Borders are no longer just lines on a map, they are symbols of shifting priorities and new realities. The quiet era of the undefended border is over. A new, more distant reality has begun. Communities that once thrived on cross-border ties now face barriers, both physical and emotional. Both nations must now navigate a changed landscape where national interest trumps old alliances. Diplomacy will be tested, and compromise will be harder to find. The future of North America will be shaped by the fallout from this conflict. New leaders and new generations will inherit the consequences of today's decisions. The story of easy friendship has ended. What comes next remains unwritten. The next chapter will be defined by choices yet to be made, and by the willingness to rebuild trust. The border, once a symbol of trust, is now a line of division, a stark reminder of how quickly history can change and how fragile peace can be.